Hi, everyone. Welcome to Flock Talk. I'm Erin Morgan.
I'm Jordan Sloggett.
And we work for the farmer members of the Ontario Sheep Farmers Organization.
This week, we are discussing ourselves.
As you have already heard in the first couple of episodes this month, I have a new co-host, Jordan Sloggett, who is the new Industry Relations Specialist with Ontario Sheep. Tell us about yourself, Jordan.
Thanks, Erin. I'm really excited to be part of the Ontario Sheep team. About myself, I live in Guelph, and I've worked in agriculture and food marketing throughout my career. I studied biology at the University of Guelph. I've worked in some pretty diverse range of different situations. I've worked in soybean and canola breeding programs, doing both outdoor field research and laboratory work, as well as working with a number of different crop protection companies across Canada at various different marketing agencies that I've worked for. I also have nonprofit experience, having worked with Agscape, that's Ontario's organization for agriculture in the classroom, as their marketing and comms manager. So I'm excited to apply all of that background and experience to this new venture.
Thanks, Jordan. We're happy to have you. On this episode, since Jordan's new and has questions about the work of OSF, we thought we'd let you listen in on the answers.
So, Erin, my first question for you, as kind of just mentioned, and as you know, I'm new to the world of sheep farming. Can you describe what you knew about sheep when you first started and how that's changed to today?
Well, Jordan, I didn't really know a lot about sheep when I first started at the Ontario Sheep Farmers. And I always say that that's okay because, firstly, it gives everybody, I tell everybody that I'm new so that everybody knows I have a blank slate and that I'm open to learning. And that is my favorite thing when I start with a new organization. I love to learn about the commodity that I work for. And I love to hear about it from the members themselves so that everybody knows that I'm open to listening. I am open to starting from scratch and building an organization from the ideas of the members up. But that doesn't mean that I have no value to add to the organization. And so what I bring is experience in managing an organization and working with Farm Products Marketing Commission because my years of experience in the commodity world have been long. And I've worked with Grain Farmers of Ontario, and before they became Grain Farmers of Ontario, I worked for the Ontario Wheat Board. I also spent some time with the Ontario Bean Growers, and I worked with the Ontario Cooperative Association. And in that role, I really got an opportunity to work in collaboration with lots of different people to find ways of finding new opportunities to use everybody's skill set for the benefit of an industry. So I think I bring a lot of really great experience to Ontario sheep farmers. And over the last year, I have definitely learned a lot about sheep, and I really thank our members for that.
Do you have a favorite sheep fact that you've learned? Don't put you right on the spot, but something you didn't know before?
There's so much I didn't know before. Well, I didn't really know how many breeds of sheep there were. And so that's been super interesting. I've just learned a ton about different farm management. I didn't realize there were so many different ways to have sheep, both like accelerated flocks, confinement systems, pasturing, you name it. There's just been so much to learn.
Mm-hmm. That's my experience with agriculture is everywhere you look, it's like a fractal where anything it seems like the smallest thing, but as soon as you start looking into it, it's like, oh, there's many doctorate level theses worth of things to explore.
Absolutely.
So Erin, how do you see our organization, Ontario Sheep Farmers, in relation to the actual farmers? Is there a way of framing it that you found useful for establishing our goals and focus points as a team?
Yeah, definitely. I see Ontario Sheep Farmers as an extension of the farm. So the way that I see our organization and the reason for its existence is that a single farmer can't do all the things, but wants to do all the things. So for example, a farmer may have a health issue in their flock, and that health issue could be so all-encompassing and be the difference between, a profit and a loss in a year. But that farmer does not have the means to do the research to figure out how to solve that problem, and only has what's available right now from a veterinary perspective to solve the problem. But other sheep farmers probably also have that problem. And so as an extension of the farm, Ontario sheep farmers can invest money in research programs that will solve that problem over the long term, or discover new tools that farmers can have to address that problem. We also can advocate on behalf of our members. So when you have an issue in one county, that issue probably extends over multiple counties, and like predation, for an example. And so each farmer can individually talk to the minister or their local MPP, and that helps. But when Ontario sheep farmers collectively can approach the Minister of Agriculture and bring that problem into the light, then it's much more likely to get addressed because it has the power of the entire organization behind the advocacy on that issue. And so that's where I really see Ontario sheep farmers as an extension of the farm. And also each member, it's a democratic structure, so that each sheep farmer member is an owner of the organization. And so the beauty of the organization is that with the input of all the members and the active participation in the goal setting, it means that we really are an extension of your farm and everybody else's farm when we can see that there are the same issues happening on all of the farms, or the same opportunities as well. So when you bring us an opportunity for marketing, for example, and we see that that will benefit many farmers across the province, well, then that's easy to set priorities because we can see where those opportunities lie. And so really the democratic structure of our organization leads to us being an extension of the farm. And that is ultimately, at the end of the day, as a staff person, that's what we want to be. We want to add value to each of our members by addressing the issues and the opportunities that our members bring to us.
So speaking to some of those issues and opportunities, in my experience, the expression "the squeaky wheel gets the grease" is often applicable to organizations like ours, where we can find ourselves having opinions, suggestions, directions, and ideas coming in from a wide variety of producers, big and small. Can you describe your process for triaging what you're hearing to ensure that it's truly the highest priority issues that we're tackling first and foremost?
Yeah, I think that the best way to approach learning where the opportunities and the issues lie is in structure of an organization and governance. And so the very first thing that we need to take a look at when we have issues and we're trying to triage, where are the most important issues and how do we prioritize? The very first thing that you have to have is a structure that brings those opportunities all the way up to the board of directors. And so that's where our committees come in. We have 11 district committees across the province representing all of our producers. And we have a new structure for those district committee meetings with a structured agenda that has a space for issues and opportunities that farmers in that district have to bring to the board, and ideas or questions that our board has for the committee. And so we will gather this information on a regular basis as committees meet and bring those ideas and opportunities to the board of directors for discussion, and also get feedback on other ideas that the board has. So this is a new thing that we've implemented to make sure that we are hearing from our members. And we also have lots of other touch points throughout the year, things like convention, farm shows, and other meetings that we host, webinars. These are also places where farmers can bring to us concerns that they have and opportunities that they see when we have question and answer periods. And so it's just really important to engage with Ontario sheep farmers so that we have all of this information and we know what's happening at the farm level. It's really important to engage with your district committee. And then what we do is we bring everything up through to the board of directors, and we try to organize things in different categories. And the board discusses them and makes decisions about setting priorities for the organization. And because the board also farms in the district committee, like in the districts, it's, we're balancing off the needs of the many with the needs of the few. And we try to address everything that crosses our desk, but we definitely prioritize the issues that are felt most broadly and the opportunities that will return the the greatest value to the majority of our membership. And every year the board sets priorities for the year. And those priorities are definitely based on all the information that we gather at the district level. And then those priorities are also vetted by our district chairs committee, which meets the week after each of our board meetings to discuss a lot of the issues and opportunities that have come up through the various district committees and the board meetings. And so there's lots of opportunity to get involved, and we encourage our members to participate in our various meetings and webinars and things throughout the year.
That was a very thorough answer, and I appreciate the call to action there for our listeners as well, that if they're not already involved, to make a note, put it in their calendar to get involved. So Erin, as we mentioned at the top, I'm new to this role as industry relations specialist, so I can kind of have this opportunity to ask some very newbie sheep industry questions. I understand there's different marketing boards for different commodity groups and that they have different funding systems. Can you explain the difference between license fees versus tag fees, and explain how Ontario Sheep Farmers as an organization is funded and what we use those funds for?
Yes, this is a question that I think a lot of people have. So on every lamb sold, there's a license fee collected. And that license fee, that $2.20 is the license fee today. That license fee goes towards the work of the Ontario Sheep Farmers Organization, which is all of those things that are outlined in the strategic plan. And that strategic plan was built from loads of surveys and interviews with the grassroots, and is continuously updated and improved by regular input from our membership. And so that $2.20 funds all kinds of things, from events to research and the staff salaries. And the staff are working very hard on behalf of our members, doing the things that I talked about earlier, the advocacy work of the organization, the communications work of the organization, marketing lamb, working with our processors, working with our auctions, and just, being an extension of that farm gate. Then there's a completely different system, and that's a federally regulated system, and that's the tag fee system. And so this money does not go to Ontario sheep farmers. This money partially goes to the Canadian Cattle Identification Agency. Canadian Cattle Identification Agency collects the traceability information on behalf of the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. That's a not-for-profit organization. Canadian Cattle Identification Agency is a not-for-profit. And they collect enough money on the tag sales to run the traceability program. And then an additional amount on that tag, or a portion of that tag fee, goes to the Canadian Sheep Federation for communication work and education work that's related to the traceability system. So all of the tag fee goes to federally run programs and is all for traceability work.
Last question for you, Erin. What are you most excited about for the future of our organization and for the future of sheep farming in Ontario?
Yeah, I've been having lots of really cool conversations lately, and everybody is excited for the future of the sheep and lamb industry in Ontario. I've been talking to processors who are looking at opportunities to expand. I've been talking to Agrivoltaics Canada, which is the organization of the solar companies that want to build solar farms in partnership with sheep farmers who want to graze the land under the solar panels, which will provide an opportunity not just for grazing land and the access to the grass, but also there's a payment involved in that. The solar companies pay the sheep farmers to manage the grass. So that's an exciting opportunity where we might be able to expand our sheep flock in Ontario to meet the needs of our expanding processors. And everywhere that I go, people are excited to get into the sheep industry. People see opportunity in the sheep industry. And we're working with the provincial government on some new market research projects, and we're working with our processors on a barbecue promotion to promote lamb this summer. So there's just lots of really exciting things going on. And we look forward to meeting with our farmers and talking more about the opportunities in the future.
Well, thanks, Erin, and thanks to you, listener, for tuning in. As Erin just said, I'm also really looking forward to meeting many of you in person and getting to learn about your sheep operations and your issues and your opportunities and what excites you about this industry. We have an extra week in our upcoming podcast calendar this May, so we'd like to hear from you. If you're a sheep farmer in Ontario, please give us a call at 519-836-0043. extension 329. Again, that number is 519-836-0043. Leave us a question that we'll answer in a future episode. If you have a burning question or maybe you have a complaint that you'd like to express, you can also express your thoughts anonymously. All opinions and thoughts will be appreciated. And if you're not comfortable with leaving a voicemail, you can also give us an email at podcast@ontariosheep.org. We're looking forward to hearing from you and sharing some of your thoughts to our wider audience.
And thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Join us next Wednesday for our research-themed episode. If you enjoyed our podcast, please subscribe through our podcast app to receive alerts for our future episodes, and please share our podcast with your friends.
For more Ontario Sheep Farmers content, follow us on social media at Ontario Sheep Farmers on Instagram and Facebook, and at Ontario Sheep on X. And visit our website at ontariosheep.org.